Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Helps us out a ton. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Now, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Of course, I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so you can check that out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Wednesday, August 24th. First up, we see the Atlanta Braves taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to see Kyle Wright and Mitch Keller on the mound for this contest. You know, I do think Mitch Keller's having a decent year for the Pirates. I'd say his best season in the major leagues thus far. His ERA is at 4.49, but his xFIP a lot lower. And, you know, I do think that he'll pitch a decent outing here, about 5 innings, maybe 2-3 earned runs in the end. And I do think the Braves will add a few runs on this Pirates bullpen, but I still think this game goes under the total. I don't really think the Pirates do much of anything offensively. You know, Kyle Wright had a really strong showing in his most recent outing against the Houston Astros. He went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, and 7 strikeouts. The previous start to that one against another solid lineup in the Boston Red Sox, he went 6 innings, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, and that was at Fenway Park. We know a very hitter-friendly ballpark. So I liked what I've seen from Kyle Wright as of late. I don't really like what I'm seeing from the Pittsburgh Pirates offense, really against righties or lefties. Jake Odorizzi had a really good start against them in the first game of the series. If that doesn't tell you something, give me the under in this Braves-Pirates ballgame. Next up, we see the Detroit Tigers hosting the San Francisco Giants. Logan Webb and Matt Manning are the starters. You know, at the beginning of the season, when Matt Manning was pitching in April for the Tigers, he really wasn't missing a lot of bats, not really earning many strikeouts. And even in his first start back from injury back on August 2nd, only 1 K through 5 innings of work against the Twins. But ever since that start, I've actually really liked what I've seen from Matt Manning. I think he's got good stuff. He's been able to miss some bats. His last outing against the Angels, 6 Ks through 7 innings of work, giving up only 1 earned run. That was a solo home run. And even though the Tigers didn't do anything offensively to help him in that game, I think they will in this spot to keep this game competitive. Logan Webb on the other side has been really inconsistent. He was pitching well. He had good starts against the A's and the Pirates. His ground ball rate was looking great. But last start against the Diamondbacks, he only went 4 2/3 innings. He didn't have a single strikeout. He gave up 3 walks, 9 base hits, 5 total runs. 3 of those were earned. Now, his defense didn't help him much in that game, but that's kind of been the case for this Giants defense all season. A lot of mistakes made by the infield especially, but you know, I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game as well. And I think even though the Tigers are dead last in baseball in team OPS against righties, the Giants are ranked 27th, so these are struggling offenses against righties. I'm going to take the home team here. They played pretty well at home this season as an underdog. Give me the Tigers plus the 1.5 at home. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Colorado Rockies. Martin Perez and Jose Urena are your starters. Now, I guess I'm going to be back in Jose Urena in back-to-back starts. We liked him last time against the Giants, and he pitched pretty well against San Francisco. 6 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs at Coors Field. You'll take that all day long if you're the Rockies, and that was a nice 7-4 victory for Colorado. I could see a similar scoreline here for the Rockies. I like them getting plus money, especially on the money line. The Rockies' numbers against lefties are strong in the last 30 days. Top 10 in baseball in team OPS. And, you know, Martin Perez has struggled at Coors Field in his career thus far. ERA above 6. Now, he hasn't had a lot of work at Coors Field. More of an American League pitcher, but still hasn't looked great in his time there in his limited innings. And, you know, his last few starts, he's been giving up some home runs, and that's a bit concerning for a guy that likes to keep the ball on the ground and likes to be a pitch-to-contact guy overall. Giving up 4 home runs in your last 4 starts, not what I'd like to see from Perez. He's also walking a lot of batters lately, giving up at least 3 free passes in each of his last 4 outings, giving up some base hits as well. I do think the Rockies can get to him here, and I think both of these starting pitchers, I wouldn't be surprised if neither of them got a decision in this game. I think it's going to be decided by the bullpens late. I honestly do trust the Rockies bullpen just a little bit more than the Rangers, and I trust the Rockies bats who have played at Coors Field all season long. I think they're going to get the job done here. There's a reason the Rockies are above 500 at home this season and well below 500 on the road. Give me the Rockies, a team that knows how to play at Coors Field. I'm going to take them getting plus money here in this spot. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the Oakland Athletics. Cole Irvin and Jesus Luzardo are your starters. You know, with 2 lefties on the mound in this game and a very, very low total, I think it's for good reason. I'm going to take the under here. I like what I've seen from Jesus Luzardo in his limited innings with the Marlins this year. 52 innings, so not too small of a sample size, but his last start against the Dodgers, he showed up in a big way. Even though the Marlins didn't get the win, he went 6 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 earned run against a really tough Dodgers lineup. Didn't give up a single home run, had 7 strikeouts in that one. He's been pitching well for the Fish this season. On the other side, Cole Irvin, he's been struggling a little bit more so recently than he was at the beginning of the year, but I will say a 2.12 home ERA is very, very sharp, and we know the Marlins have struggled against lefties all season long. Cole Irvin's not my favorite starting pitcher to back, but I do think he's good enough here to keep this game under the total. Give me the under in this Marlins-A's matchup. Next up, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the San Diego Padres. Cal Quantrill and Yu Darvish are the starters. No official lineup for this one, though, so we could see a pitching change. You know, Cal Quantrill, I mentioned in the last video, he's got to be the toughest pitcher to read right now. He has been so inconsistent. We saw him struggle mightily against the Red Sox and D-backs. He gave up 9 earned runs and 4 home runs in an 11 1/3 inning stretch against those two teams. Now, both of those were wins from the Guardians, but still not good numbers whatsoever. And then he went out against the Astros and the Blue Jays, two of the tougher lineups in the American League. He went 13 innings pitched, didn't give up a single earned run, had 11 strikeouts, only walked 1 batter. And now, the next start after that, he's facing the Detroit Tigers at home. You got to think, oh, great spot for him at home against the weakest lineup in the American League, especially against those righties. Going to have to be a great start for Quantrill, right? Nope, he goes 6 innings, gives up 4 earned runs, a home run, only 2 strikeouts, and the Guardians still won that game as well. So they're backing him up offensively, but against Yu Darvish on the road, I just don't think that's going to be the case here. You know, the Padres' numbers against righties, although they're not doing great in the run-scoring department, they're still up there in team OPS, ranked 5th in the league in the last month, also 5th in isolated power. So better numbers against those righties than the Guardians have in the last month. I'm going to take the San Diego Padres here on the money line, but we'll have to see if these are the official starters. Next up, we see the Seattle Mariners taking on the Washington Nationals. Anibal Sanchez and George Kirby are your starters. Now, instead of taking a play on the side in this game, we see the Mariners are minus 300 right now on the money line. So the money line is too steep. Even the run line, you're laying negative odds. So not really a great option there. I'm just going to look at a player prop here. I'm going to take a home run prop. I like Ty France to hit a home run in this game. You know, these home run props are not going to hit every day, obviously, but you're getting nice plus money, so they don't have to hit every day for it to turn a profit. And, you know, Anibal Sanchez has given up at least 1 home run in every single start this season. He's had 7 outings this year, and he's given up at least 1 homer, usually multiple home runs. So I think Ty France has a really good shot at hitting a long ball in this game. He hits right-handed pitching a lot better than lefties. Out of his 14 home runs thus far this season, 12 of those have been against those right-handers. So I think this is a good spot for him to go deep. I'm going to take the Ty France home run prop in this one. Next up, we see the Baltimore Orioles hosting the Chicago White Sox. This game on Fox Sports 1. I'm going to lean towards the over in this one. Lucas Giolito has been pitching better on the road than at home, but still not by much. His ERA is still above 4 on the road, and he's giving up a lot of base hits and a lot of walks. Strikeout numbers are still there, 132 and 116 innings. That's what you like to see, but 19 home runs allowed, 44 walks allowed, a ton of base hits, and the Orioles are hitting right-handed pitching very well, especially at Camden Yards. It's tough to back Giolito here, but on the other side, I do think the White Sox put up a fight offensively. You look at their numbers in the last 30 days. Team OPS-wise, they're in the top 15 against those right-handers. And Spencer Watkins, not my favorite option on the mound. His advanced numbers are not very good because he doesn't really strike out a lot of batters. Doesn't give up a lot of walks, which is important. He's only given up 2 walks in his last 5 starts. However, at least 1 home run in 4 of his last 5. The base hits are there. The earned runs are also piling up, and he really hasn't even faced the toughest of lineups. The Rays twice, the Rangers, the Pirates, and the Cubs. So I would say the White Sox have the better lineup out of all 5 of those teams right now. I think they do some damage on Watkins. I'm going to take the over in this Orioles-White Sox matchup. Next up, we see the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, there's a few starting pitchers that have been thrown around here for this game. I've seen Aaron Nola at some spots. I'm also seeing Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies in other spots. We'll have to see who the official guy is for this one. But on the other side, I'm also seeing Graham Ashcraft listed by a few sources, and then also TJ Zoik. You know, I really don't like either of the Reds' options on the mound, and I think their bullpen is also one of the weaker ones in baseball. So I do like the Phillies to win this game on the run line. Obviously, I'd like it a lot more if Nola is the one to go, but I still think Christopher Sanchez does a good enough job here against the Reds' bats that really just haven't been strong this season, especially you lose a guy like Joey Votto to injury. They've moved a couple guys at the trade deadline, so just not a great lineup in Cincinnati, especially on the road where they're not getting that great American ballpark to bail them out. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Phillies on the run line, and I lean towards the team total for the Reds under in this one as well. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. We're going to see Shane McClanahan for the Rays and a bullpen game here for the Angels, and I don't really love a bullpen game for a pretty weak bullpen in the American League. I think the Rays bats will get to the Halos bullpen overall, and I think the Shane McClanahan pitching here for the Rays is a good spot for him against a pretty weak Angels lineup that has not done much against lefties this season. Strikeout rate has been one of the highest in the league against those lefties, and the team OPS numbers, isolated power numbers, not great either. In his last 13 innings pitched, McClanahan's only given up 4 earned runs with 12 strikeouts, only 1 home run allowed in his last 4 outings combined, which is impressive for a guy who's really had issues with the home run ball at times in his career, but is starting to limit the long ball recently. I think he has a good start here. I think the Rays bats get to the Angels bullpen, like I said. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Rays on the run line here, laying the 1.5 runs. Next up, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Boston Red Sox. Jose Barrios and Rich Hill are the starters for now, but no official lineup for this game, so we could see a pitching change. You know, I do think Jose Barrios is actually the better option on the mound in this one, even though I don't say that very often. Rich Hill, I just haven't liked what I've seen from him. He's not striking out a lot of batters. He is giving up some home runs, which is not what you want to see from a pitch-to-contact guy. He's given up 3 home runs in his last 3 starts, and he's also really struggling at Fenway Park. A 6.82 ERA is far higher than his overall ERA this season. In his 30 and 1/3 innings at Fenway, 25 total runs, 7 of those, 7 home runs allowed, only 25 strikeouts. So I just can't trust him here against a really good Blue Jays lineup. Against lefties in the last 30 days, the Blue Jays top 5 in team OPS, top 5 in isolated power. So even though Barrios isn't the best option, he is coming off a really good outing against the Yankees. I think he's good enough here for the Blue Jays to win this game. Give me Toronto on the money line, but we'll have to see if these are the official starters as well. Next up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Chicago Cubs. Miles Mikolas going for the Cardinals. No official starter for the Cubbies. Now, I'm going to lean towards the over for now for this game, but not my favorite game. We don't have a lot of information. There's no total set for this game because it's at Wrigley Field, and we're not going to see a total regardless the night before. And there's a reason why the books do that, and it's because the weather is so dependent on the total at Wrigley, more so than any other stadium, in my opinion. When you look at the wind, if it's blowing in, the pitchers have a huge advantage at Wrigley, and even if there's pitchers that aren't the best, you'll see totals at 7, 7.5, and the under hits at a pretty good rate. If you see a wind that's blowing out 10 miles per hour out to the outfield, even if you have 2 strong pitchers, you'll see the ball flies quite a bit. You'll see high totals that rival Coors Field numbers, 10.5, 11, and you'll see the over hit at a pretty good rate as well. So I am going to lean towards the over because Mikolas has struggled at Wrigley in this season at least. Gave up a good amount of base hits, not a lot of strikeouts, a home run already as well to the Cubbies. And the numbers for the Cubs offensively against righties have actually been pretty good in the last month. On the other side, you know, the Cubs are probably going with the bullpen game here, and it's a tough spot to be in as the Cubs had a doubleheader. Both teams' bullpens used a lot of arms in their doubleheader on Tuesday afternoon. So, you know, I do think this is going to be a good spot for the bats and not rather than the pitchers. So I'm going to take the over in this Cardinals-Cubs game, but like I said, just a lean. Next up, we see the Minnesota Twins taking on the Houston Astros. Dylan Bundy and Framber Valdez are the starters. You know, Framber Valdez, I believe he has 19 or 20 quality starts in a row. He's been so dominant this season. His ground ball pitches have been working all year long, and he's got the highest ground ball rate in baseball. It's not even really close. He's only given up 7 home runs all season long and about 150 innings pitched. I know his ERA is a little bit higher at home than it is on the road, but it doesn't really matter to me. I think the Twins' offense is struggling right now, and against lefties, they're outside the top 15 in team OPS. I do think they struggle yet again in this one, and I think Dylan Bundy with his ERA on the road at 5.83. He's been pitching better as of late, but he's also only had 3 strikeouts in his last 10 1/3 innings pitched. He's still giving up a lot of home runs overall, especially on the road this season. I don't like him in this spot. Give me the Houston Astros here on the run line, laying the 1.5 runs. Next up, we see the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Kansas City Royals. Now, we're going to see 2 pitchers here in Zach Gallen and Brady Singer that I'd say are pretty similar guys. You know, Zach Gallen has been one of the hotter pitchers in baseball as of late. His last 3 starts, he's gone at least 7 innings, and he hasn't given up a single earned run. His most recent outing was a 12 strikeout performance against the Giants in a 5-0 D-backs win. The D-backs have won all 5 of his last 5 starts, all of those on the run line as well. And Brady Singer, he's been pitching well himself. The last 3 games the Royals have won of his starts. He's only given up 3 earned runs combined in his last 3 outings. He's faced the White Sox, Dodgers, and Rays. So 3 winning teams in that stretch. He's striking out a good amount of batters. But the walks are a little bit of a problem for him. He's given up 7 walks in his last 2 starts combined. The home runs at times are also an issue for him. Gallen only giving up 11 home runs in 132.2 innings pitched. Singer already 13 in 110 innings. So I do think that Gallen is a slightly more trustworthy starter. I also trust this Diamondbacks lineup against righties a little bit more as well. Both of these bullpens aren't the greatest. I would say the Royals have the slightly better bullpen, but I do think Gallen is just that much better of a starter. I'm going to take the Diamondbacks here on the money line at a pretty good price here at minus 125. I'm standing at. In our final game of the night, we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. A 9 o'clock Eastern start time here. No official starter for the Brewers. Andrew Heaney going for the Dodgers. Now, Andrew Heaney kind of had a weird start in his last outing. He gave up 3 earned runs. He gave up 3 home runs, but 10 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings only means 4 outs were recorded that weren't strikeouts in that game from Heaney. And we know the Brewers' highest strikeout rate in the last 30 days against those lefties, 31.2%. Team OPS-wise, the Brewers dead last in baseball against those lefties. Isolated power, 26. So even though they hit those home runs, they're still not showing much power against those lefties in the last month or so. So I do think Heaney bounces back in terms of the earned runs. I still think he's going to be missing a lot of bats here, and he's been doing that all season long. He's not really a guy that pitches too deep into ball games. His pitch count usually rises pretty early. We've seen him have some injury problems already this season, but at home, he's 1-0 with a .46 ERA in 19 2/3 innings, only giving up 1 earned run with 25 strikeouts at home this season. I think he bounces back, and I think the Dodgers win this game. I'm going to lay the run line here with LA and put a little bit on the money line as well. And that's it. Those are the games for Wednesday, August 24th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.